Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast. You can find this episode and every episode on our YouTube channel, Death, Taxes, and Bananas youtube.com at Death, Taxes, and Bananas. You can also follow us on Instagram at Death, Taxes, and Bananas, and on Spotify and everywhere else your podcasts are found at where? Death, Taxes, and Bananas. Just to do a little housekeeping real quick before we get started. A lot of you, most notably the T pages, you always think there's a conspiracy out there. You always think that there's something nefarious taking place. And for those, investigative reporters out there, noticed that there was a piece of last episode that was altered or edited out. And there's all these conspiracies as to why and who made the call. You want to know who made the call? This guy sitting right here. Okay. This wasn't the higher ups coming down on me for something that was said that they, didn't approve of, because the only person's opinion that matters on this podcast of what is said and what is not is mine and the and the wizard behind the curtain, Mrs. Sasha. So, I did this because this podcast is meant to be a platform for people to have fun and express ideas and express opinions. And if something is said or something is done that I feel like could potentially affect someone's life outside of the show in a negative way, then I don't want that to happen, because that's not what I'm here for, okay? We are here for a good time and a long time, all right? Not a hard time. Unless your name is Wes, because then we will torture you at every opportunity that we get. All right. So just to clear that all up, everybody, you can put your tinfoil hats away. It was a judgment call made by me and only me, because again, I don't want this podcast to turn into something that is going to, affect someone's life in a bad way outside of the show. That's not what we're here to do. So with that being said, we're going to bring on a guest who has been ruining a lot of people's lives in the game this season. All right. You may be very familiar with her work. She's had one of the wildest glow-ups in challenge history. If we flash back to her rookie season, she scribbles down a hit list, gets caught, and becomes the first one on her season packing. It was messy, it was chaotic, and it was iconic for all the wrong reasons. But that was then. All right. Fast forward now to the Challenge USA and this season of Vets and New Threats. Michaela has done what very few people in this game ever truly accomplish. All right. She's adapted, she's evolved, and she's weaponized everything that she's learned. She took all of the instincts that she acquired on Survivor, sharpened them with challenge steel, and transformed herself, especially this season, into one of the most cunning, calculated, and downright dangerous characters to ever walk into this house. And now the house knows it. And it's obvious by this last episode, because for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And lately, all of the paranoia, the venom, and all the target painting has shifted squarely onto her and her partner, Cedric. God love him, is not good at talking himself out of a corner. However, she stood tall, pushed back, and she's proving week after week why she's one of the biggest threats in the game, even though technically she is a vet. So today we're breaking it all down. Her evolution, the heat she's under, and the force she's become. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Michaela.
Wow, that was I just put myself on mute because that was such a great introduction. I feel so loved, Johnny.
Well, you are.
Thank you.
One of my only allies that actually, stood with me the entire game in Champs USA, one of the most unlikely allies I had in the game. And it took us a while to get on the same page. But once we did, I got to say, and you know this just from the short time you've been in the game and just being in reality TV, like people usually their word is not worth anything on the show. And I still remember when, you, myself, Desi, Chanel, and then Tori kind of all had that little group chat. We're like, we're going to stick with you. You were really the only one that was actually going to stick by that. Even Tori, okay, who I thugged it out with the entire game. And you remember that semi-truck challenge when like you guys were beating the shit out of each other and I was getting my ass kicked. Like even with her, someone like I spilled blood in that season with turned on me at the end and you didn't. So, yeah, appreciate you, bro.
I have to say that experience of watching your friends who were your friends inside and outside of the game, most importantly, watching them have the numbers and then still decide to put all those balls on you.
I know.
It is why I am so ruthless with people now and why I am so detached from feelings in these games, because I saw firsthand, I will never have the degree of relationship that you had with like the Joshes and the Tories and the whomevers. And so if they can do that to you,
yes,
sure enough, these people will do it to me.
And you wonder why I have trust issues. This is what I tell people every season. I mean, even in this season with like the whole D situation with me. I mean, I was like, D, like I am not here, obviously. I'm here to play games, but not really. And I'm like, this is like such a played out storyline with people like, oh, let's fucking get close to bananas and then screw them over. I'm like, that's why it's like, I literally don't trust anybody. I mean, again, you saw it, one of the earliest votes. It was like, oh, we're going to go for America, when really it was a shot against me. And I see guys in the house like Derek and CT and people that I've played with forever even say my name. So it's like when you kind of like find that person that you feel like plays the game with something that doesn't really usually exist in the challenge, which is, trust and integrity. You gotta hang on to them because they're few and far between.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you see me, because people on the internet apparently think I'm a liar now. But I'm like, oh, it's because y'all don't have brains.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. You found yourself in a position, okay? You found yourself in a position in the game where at some point you have to, make moves. At some point you have to find a way. You're literally in a game of survival. And obviously I want to get into where we're at now, but if you look at where you've come from this season, you and the upstairs alliance that you're with, you guys were loyal to each other the entire time. But once the game dwindles down, it becomes a numbers game. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to start cutting each other's throats at some point. And it's almost like, what's the cleanest way to do it? And I think, in all honesty, like you've found that way where you found that middle ground where it's like, yes, you're getting, work done, but at the same time, it's like a clean death. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not messy.
100%. It's an alignment of interest.
Yes. Exactly.
That's what I look for. The win-wins all the time.
An alignment of interest. So you really have, this season, ever since you roomed with the upstairs alliance, you really have been like quietly running like the show from upstairs. Like what coming in to the game, like what was your approach? And was this like an alliance that just kind of happened out of nowhere? Or did you know kind of which direction you were going to go with and who you were going to pair with before coming into the season, besides myself?
Yeah, besides myself. No, great question. Everything was natural and organic. When I came in this season, you were really the only person I've done a actual season with. And again, it wasn't like we came into the game and had anything. It was, we decided it's in our interest to work with each other and just didn't do anything to hurt each other that second half of the game. But we hadn't had any communication or interaction in the 2 years since. So it was kind of a situation of, I don't know these people. A few of them were on Spies Lies. All of them voted for me. I'm just going to go in, see what's happening, get a sense of things on day one and go accordingly. And so what really created the shift was Olivia running around and trying to ban the house against you. And I've already learned and decided for myself, I don't fight other people's battles. Yeah. So it really became a thing of, okay, because I can't play with her and this huge group of people that she has, brought together specifically to get bananas out of the house, who are these other people that I could potentially work with? And it just so happened that everybody in my room, minus Blue, at the beginning was people that were not willing to just go on the anti-bananas train because one person said so. And so when Blue left, it became a great little like space of trust where we could talk to each other and say, okay, can we just agree not to go against each other? And we agree that it makes no sense for our games individually to put a target on bananas. Like that's all it started as. And then each time we were able to consult each other, find a vote that made sense. And it just moved from there. Like we ended up building trust with each other. We had our own different connections and it put us in a good spot by the time we got to midway through the game. But for the first several votes, we didn't have the numbers. Mm-hmm. We all didn't want Justin in. We voted for Jake. Yep. Justin went in, right? We all didn't want you to go in with America. Y'all went in. So we did not have the numbers. Yep. The first half of the game. It really took that big kind of anti-bananas alliance. It took them shooting at each other once you got out of the house. And that's what allowed us to become the majority. I've
said this in the past. The only thing I'm better at than blowing alliances up is keeping alliances together. And again, that happened in this game. It's funny how like it seemed, again, the Olivia UK alliance, which it's so funny how now they all want to conveniently forget. They're making it out like they make it out like
they were at the bottom.
Yes, the whole time.
You weren't. No, you were in the majority. We were at the bottom.
We've been thugging it out this entire time. How have we survived? It's like you did that to yourself. You know what you did? You literally had this alliance and you killed them all off.
And you killed them all. You lined them up and shot them down. I was like, they will just jump on the sword.
Yes.
For these people who will literally burn a boat.
Yes.
To avoid saving you. I said, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to line you up. So really, that's what it was. And I'm glad you remember because like the upstairs, we were the bottom.
Yes.
Like, and it wasn't an upstairs, downstairs. CT was upstairs. He was voting for you.
Yep.
Derek was downstairs, but Derek was with them. Leroy was downstairs. He was voting with us.
Yep.
Sydney started off downstairs.
Yep.
So it wasn't an upstairs, downstairs. It was really, are you willing to do someone else's bidding when it doesn't even benefit you and then act dumb and give them a pass when they don't help you? Or are you going to find people that you actually can work with?
Actually fuck with.
Yeah. And that's all it was.
And again, It's like so frustrating to watch because that's one of the first things that Theo says in this episode is he breaks it down. He goes, it was 9 teams versus us 3. And it's like, okay, yes, but the reason that happened and the reason it was 9 against 3 is because you guys sacrificed and killed off everyone that was working with you. And you guys changed who you were working with and alliances so many times. And Theo, buddy, the game that you played, for saving yourself, but the way that you manipulated votes and the way it's like that all came to light and your game was exposed, at which made people want to work against you. So yes, you have now found yourself in a position where you're the minority and where you've got the numbers working against you. But you're a victim of your own circumstance. You created this.
Consequences of actions. It's consequences of actions.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that because it's been annoying to me, and I just had to be like, my job is not to create the story, it's to compete in the show.
Yes.
And collect my check. So I've just been sitting with that. But no, it's not 9v3.
And regardless, and here's the thing. Yes, it's now come to a head. And yes, it's now come to a point where, you and Nany are at odds. And then, last episode with Aviv. But that all came to pass when there was no other options, that had to happen. It's not like before, like with their alliance, when they're killing each other off, when there are multiple other alliances or options. When you have Izzy there, who you literally could have saved if you would have fucking just voted in Turbo or burned.
Which you told everyone else to vote in Turbo and D, knowing you were at the back of the line. Dude. And you wanted us to do your bidding so your hand could be clean. And I said, no, because I don't think y'all are going to vote Turbo and D. And guess what? They didn't. So it just things like that to expose other people's game. And people started opening their eyes. Like that was a key vote for Leo, who became so important. Once he partnered with Ashall. When Leo saw that, he was like, oh no. I was like, got him. There goes one for us, you know. With Gabe, that was another thing. You know.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm talking. Okay, that's my point. The fact, but a lot of that is on Gabe as well. But the fact
he should have been thinking.
The fact that Gabe was willing to like defy fucking reality, dude, and be like, when you have your partner John A, who literally is the only person here that you should actually trust, is not going to be feeding you bullshit. And you're going to sit here and tell her she's lying because Theo brought you downstairs.
Theo told you.
And there was, and this is what I'm talking about, dude. The description he gives, he goes, yeah, so I was upstairs and I forgot who said it, but they basically said that, you know, you're going to get thrown in. But I forgot who said it and what they said, but this is what they said. And Gabe's like, oh man, that makes complete sense. And then that's what he goes off of to then, you know, stake a claim, and it ends up getting him completely, you know, removed from the game. And after that, still, you know, people want to sit here and say that you guys are the ones that are lying to people and manipulating people.
Yeah, and the manipulation. And you know what's crazy? What they didn't show? I wish they would just pull off deleted scenes. So Gabe went to Cedric and said something to the effect of, you got to make sure Michaela doesn't vote for me. I heard Michaela's coming for me. So Cedric says to me, like, are we voting for Gabe? Like, what? I said, absolutely not. So I went directly to Gabe, sat him down for like 20 minutes and said, look, I can't tell you anything because I know who you run and go talk to. But just think, how would it make sense? I was like, Gabe, do you realize I'm the only person in this house who's never voted for you? Do you realize I've won twice on Men's Day? I didn't nominate you. Like, I could, if I wanted to get rid of you, if it made sense, I could do that. And I was like, again, Johnette is one person people actually want to vote with. So she's saving you. So if you just sit, I was like, you're at the back of the line. Just sit there. Wait. You'll see who says your name. And it's not going to be the people you think. And you'll know what to do. And he just...
The allure of power, the allure of like popularity, the allure of groupthink on the challenge is a very powerful thing, I think, for people who like aren't really like, don't have their wits about them, you know, from a mental standpoint. And I think that was true with Gabe this season too. And he even said it. He goes like, he allowed a lot of people to get into his head and to manipulate him. And again, what you were saying before, I think that's the reason so many people banded together on the original anti-Banana Olivia UK alliance, is because this allure of like power and control. And there's a lot of people that want to go with the numbers and want to go with the flow. But then there's the, you know, the Michaelas of the world that see this happening and they're like, well, wait a minute. If you're already promising 14 people something, where do I fit in on this list? And I would rather, then pair up with the people that I not only am rooming with, but I know I have better chances of being higher on their list than I do whatever this fucking monstrosity is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will also say, you know, it's so sad they don't show as much about what's going on in our room. Cause again, we had a great partnership that we built, like me, Aviv, Nany, Ashley. And it was really a situation of everybody could be honest about where their hard lines were. You know, Nany was like, okay, you know, I got to stick with Bananas. I can't ever vote. What was his name? Turbo. And it wasn't that y'all can't vote Turbo. It was literally, if y'all want to vote Turbo, you cannot count me in that vote. But I'm not going to stop you, you know? And same thing with Anissa, which I'll give her. You know, she was like, hey, who I'm not going to vote for is Olivia. It's like, okay, so you're going to save her against us. I appreciate that she said it, and that allowed me to make my decision up. I will no longer be protecting you. You know, so Aviv's big thing was, I will stick with you all until that time comes. Until that time comes, I'll be right here. It's like, okay, noted. You have an expiration date.
Yeah.
Noted.
The old Devin expiration date. That's one of my favorites. It's like, okay, we're going to be in an alliance, but here's the date on the container you must sell by.
Yeah. Okay, cool. You have an expiration date. Good to know. Ashley was like, I'm going to be loyal this whole season. I'm here. Noted.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So I appreciated that, and that we intentionally tried to navigate around each other's hard lines. I don't think we got to see a lot of that. But it was great to work with them and be a part of that.
Now, and this is what I want to bring up. And this is what, I mean, we're not really at that point in the episode, but this is kind of a good segue into that. Do you feel like that same type of gameplay happens on Survivor, where it's like, I'm going to be out in the open, I'm going to show you my cards and where I'm standing, who I'm not going to vote with? And if it does, fine. And if it does not, why do you think that is? Because I know a lot of people gave Nany shit like online this episode when she's like, this isn't Big Brother, this isn't Survivor, this is the fucking challenge. And I think a lot of people took it as like, she's trying to compare the difficulty of the show. Which could be, argued. But in my opinion, what she was saying is you can't necessarily play on the challenge the way you play Survivor and the way you play Big Brother. So kind of what you just said, the way that you guys were in the room and the way you were out in the open about your game, is that something you can do on Survivor, or is that kind of not how you want to play the game?
In Survivor, to a degree, with the right people, right? The trick with Survivor is everybody needs to feel, to some degree, that you're either in a strong, locked-in majority and they can't touch you, or that they know exactly where you like stand, right? So that's the thing. But the issue with Survivor is you kind of need this illusion out there to protect yourself, number one, but then also to make sure that your real target feels safe enough to not play an idol or whatever, so they can go out when you vote for them. But the thing that makes Survivor and the challenge different is, number one, most of the time people don't get the chance to play Survivor over and over again. So you're never playing with the perspective of, what if I see this person in another season?
Or I'm going to see you again. That's how I always play. It's like, listen, okay, you might have got me this time, but I'm going to see you again.
Yeah, it's like balls to the wall.
Yeah.
I'm trying to win this $1 million.
Yes.
And if you make one mistake, like, there is no way to fix it. If you get the votes in Survivor, your shot at the money is gone, you're out. So it's a completely different type of game, but it is helpful when you can find yourself in a small group of people that you can actually trust, that are not afraid of seeing you at the end. That's the issue with Survivor. You might find a small group that you can trust, but typically it's going to have an expiration date because somebody in that group's going to be too good and your group will vote you out. It's
almost like going into like a battle and you're like, all right, I'm not going to save any ammunition. I'm going to just try and like in Survivor, I'm going for broke right now. I'm using all my ammo I possibly can to end up winning the battle at the end, where the challenge is like,
you got to parse it out.
I might need to keep some powder dry, because if this doesn't work out in my favor or whatever, and I've used all of my bullets, then I'm going to come back on a future season. I'm going to have nothing to defend myself with.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you'll be like Theo going into elimination.
Every time.
You'll fight your way to the end and then have a reputation to overcome the next time.
And I guess that brings me back to the prior episode with Aviv and Nany, which led to this whole fucking stake and a claim debacle with Yeremi. And then obviously fingers are just being pointed left, right, and center at who was responsible for that. But again, that mentality and what we kind of just described or discussed. And it's funny because you and Nany saw this situation from two completely different perspectives, but each one of you were seeing it from the perspective of the show that you're used to playing, right? Nany was looking at her pulling Aviv aside as like, you know what? I'm going to do this like, because this is like a friend of mine I owe her to her, but also for future games, if I don't, and if it's like a blind side or something like that, then she's going to have reason to come after me. Whereas your perspective was, you should have just kept your mouth shut and you shouldn't have said anything.
Say it right after. What's the difference? What's the difference of an hour?
Yeah.
Obviously now you see the difference of an hour, but if you're going to vote for a person, and I guess it goes to my personality. You are not a friend to me if you come to me and say, sorry, I got other options, but it's going to be you. That's not what a friend does. A friend scrambles. A friend figures it out.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. So
that's like saying with all due respect before you insult me. Don't even say with all due respect. Just fucking insult me. Because I know an insult is coming after that.
Exactly. So for me, there's truly no difference in the relationship between saying something before deliberation after. You're just creating an unnecessary risk, especially in a season where you have a stake of claim. If there was no stake of claim, if there was no way for someone to do anything about knowing they're going in, okay, then say what you want to say. But in this season, that just didn't make any sense. But then again, I also don't play for the next season. You know, I may be there, I may not. I'm playing for the money that's on the table right now because I don't make casting decisions and I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So,
listen, hold on. I do have my magic 8 ball back here. Let's see. And if I had to guess without using my magic 8 ball, will we see Michaela on another season of the challenge, Magic 8 Ball? And give me your answer.
Look,
you bet your ass you will.
You know,
that's
there's
accurate.
That know the tea. It's you and Ashley. So
accurate. Yes. so everybody knows I'm actually the one. It's so funny how I'm the one that gets either or blamed or the amount of people that message me and they're like, hey, like I really want fans. Hey, I really want to be on the challenge. Can I come on? I'm like, if only I had the opportunity to do that. Trust me, if I had the opportunity to cast people, I would not cast 95% of the house that was going to work against me every time.
You know?
Okay. So then when it comes to the, Nany telling Aviv and then Yeremi staking a claim, how much do you, and I think we've heard your side, but I want to hear it again. How much do you attribute that whole debacle and then Will being sent in and Yeremi staking a claim? How much do you pin that upon Nany telling Aviv? And do you think Aviv was the one then that was responsible for getting Yeremi to then stake a claim? Or would this have happened regardless?
No, so I think Yeremi was definitely considering the potential that he would get votes. Like he knew he was going to get votes from who was that? Theo and Olivia, right? Those two teams, right? It was just a matter of, is it going to be a coin flip or is Nany and Justin going to flip? What we saw is that who Justin told Sydney and then Sydney told Yeremi, and Sydney convinced Yeremi to stake the claim. It wasn't Aviv. Now, mind you, I was in the bed when all this was happening, so I was shocked coming, like when they came in from the nominations. First of all, it took a long time for anybody to come to the kitchen to tell me and Cedric what happened. We had no clue. And by the time Aviv came in there, I was like, well, I expected you, but how are you with Will? Like, they had to piece everything together. But ultimately, Nany thought Aviv told Yeremi to stake the claim. And while Aviv apparently did talk to Yeremi, it was Sydney that when she found out from Justin, Sydney told Yeremi, you have to stake the claim. You must do it. And that's why he did it. So it wasn't Aviv.
So then, and then after that happens, okay, this was only the first fucking blow up in this in this episode. Then Will ends up getting put in because Nany
made that deal, which I didn't understand.
With Theo, I still don't get that either. I mean, that's why I'm thinking, do you think maybe the deal was made? This is a deal that she wanted to make, and then she basically had to use the fact that she, obviously swore the way that she did to back it up. Like, do you think this decision, actually helped her game and she was going to find any reason she could to stand behind it?
No, the deal made no sense because at this point, everybody wants Nany and Justin in the final. Let's be honest. Everybody wants Nany and Justin in the final. All Nany and Justin had to do was chill. The name of their game is to be as flexible as possible because if they find themselves in the middle and having to vote, they have to vote somehow. Like nobody can be mad at them. But when you go make a deal with Theo that also magically extends to Olivia, that means you're willing to vote for everybody else. Except.
I mean, exactly. She should have. And again, I think she was playing from a position of fear when she should have been playing from a position of logic where it's like, we're not going in anyways. I don't give a shit. Yes, of course, Theo, me not voting for you benefits you, but why would you say my name? You should want me in the fucking final.
Exactly. So I think it just, but when you get that far in the game, your
paranoia
mind
takes over. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you feel like you want to be in control of something. But
I played with her. I played with her many times on the show. And one of the best pieces of advice, and it actually came from my dad, but one of the best pieces of advice I try and give people, and not just on the challenge, but in life, don't ever make important decisions based on fear or emotion. Yeah. Okay, you got to make, especially like life and death decisions, like they've got to be based strictly on logic. And if you're playing from a position where I'm going to do this because I'm scared, or I'm going to do this because I feel bad.
Yeah, no.
That's what separates, and I know you play like that. You're just like, you got to check your emotion at the door. Yeah,
it's what makes sense. And the crazy thing this season, we got such a view at who exactly is our competition in the final on day one. When do you get that? So for me, it was like, there are only 4 women in this house who beat me up that mountain on day one.
Yep.
I want to get to this final, and it's in my best interest for none of y'all to be here. It just so happened that, I find myself working with Aviv and Sydney. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and then we get to the partner selection. Now the one person that Cedric doesn't want to put in is Will. And who's Will attached to? Ain't no way I'm going to the final with all 3 of y'all.
Yep.
Something's got to break.
Yep.
And this was just the break. And Sydney, I was surprised at some of Sydney's comment, not surprised, but interesting, at some of Sydney's comments, because girl, we could have threw you out of here a long time ago.
Yeah.
With all that energy and attitude.
I'd be like, wait a minute, Turbo's letting you talk?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Turbo,
where's coming from?
Turbo, but Turbo, your partner's opening her mouth and words are coming out, and she has shoes on.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things. So if people are thinking strategically, again, why in the world are we taking the 3 of the 4 first women up the mountain to the final? So one of y'all got to go. 2 of y'all.
I'm of the same mindset. I always love it when people play this game where it's like, no, I want to run against the best in the final.
No, I don't. Go elimination and against the best in the final.
And that was the one thing I wish. See, and that's my mindset exactly. When it came to when we did Battle of the Eras, and it was like there was Jordan, and he just skated his way to the final, and I was like, I need to go into an elimination because I have a winning record against him in eliminations. I would rather see him in an elimination than in the final. Because if you think I'm going to outrun or outswim this guy, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, and you're fast. You were one of the first boys up the mountain.
Yeah, but
the first vet man up the mountain.
Yeah, well, dude, and then you got fucked. And it's so funny you said that because Yeremi was the first one up, and all I did was just make a simple observation. Guys, he's going to be a problem in the final. Everyone's like, oh my God, we got to get rid of Bananas. He's targeting Yeremi. And then now everyone's like, Yeremi's got to go. He's a fucking problem.
And it's like every guy said that about Yeremi.
Yes.
Every day. Yeah. So it's like, why? What? Like, come on now. Just say, I don't like Bananas. I'm mad because he did ABC, and so I want to vote him out. But let's not play. Yeah. So anywho.
Don't pee on me and tell me it's rain. All right.
Yeah, just tell the truth.
So Will's obviously really pissed about the outcome of him going in. He basically leaves a note behind for both Nany and Justin. So I want you to just listen to kind of what, I know you saw it, but I want to get your take on what his note says, and do you kind of agree with where he's coming from?
Okay.
Talk about sticking the knife in my back. I would have never done it to you too. You really hurt me. I really don't know if I'll ever forgive you. I won't forgive her. She used all of me. My heart hurts, man. Take care.
Will thinks that Justin and I were the reason that he went home. And honestly, that really breaks my heart, because the last thing that I want is for him to leave this game thinking that I didn't care about him, because that is so far from the truth.
Okay, so that vote happens, right? And Nany and Justin are sitting there, taking forever to figure out their vote. Will then votes the way that he does, ends up voting for them. Does he have a right to be upset and feel betrayed by Nany in this circumstance?
I think so. Yes, he did put the vote first, but from my understanding, they were down there going back and forth about the vote for a long time.
Yep.
So what was there to go back and forth about?
Yes.
Like,
that was the same feel that I got.
Yeah, that's the issue. And again, if you made a deal with Theo and you were intending to protect Will the whole time, your loyalty should go to Will. For you cannot vote Theo and not vote Will. Like, to me, I'm still confused why the votes weren't split on Will and Aviv and Olivia and Yeremi. I didn't understand why Nany got votes or why Nany voted for Aviv and Will. So yes, ultimately, I do think it makes sense that Will feels some type of way, because in an ideal world, the moment that the switch happened and Will and Aviv became partners, Will and Aviv should have been off the table for Nany and Justin, and they should have just voted for Yeremi and Olivia.
Well, I mean, the way that and here's the way it plays, and again, we got clarification on this after, and Will's, it looks like it all happens very quickly, but he's like, dude, he was standing there, you were there for like 10 minutes or whatever. Yes, if I'm in a position where there's a girl that I am, obviously having an intimate relationship throughout the season, working with, and then there's a guy that's pledged his loyalty to me from day one. And we're in a position where it's like, all right, you're not going to say my name, right? And then nothing comes out of their mouth. That to me, and he says it, he goes, the silence right now is like deafening. Like the fact that you're silent and you're not saying something, it shouldn't even be a thought in your head. There should be no hesitation. This should be like, yes, obviously you're off the table. And the fact that it wasn't, that's what then made him vote the way that he did, because we know.
And I still don't think he should have. I still think, vote with your brain.
Yes.
Like, that was an emotional vote. Oh, you're going to vote for me, so I'm going to vote for you.
Yep.
No. Still do what you need to do, because if they're going to vote for you, they're going to vote for you.
Well, and it gave them the out, because now we'll never know who they would have actually voted for, because then they can just be like, well, no, we were going to vote for, you said our name, so then we said yours. Well, if I didn't say your name, would you have said mine? And there's no way of ever knowing.
Yeah.
Okay. So the conversation continues after this note is read, and Nany and Justin seem to think that you and Cedric, in fact, were the ones that were responsible for Will going in. So listen to this.
Masterclass in deflection. How are we responsible? We're in the kitchen.
Hold on.
We didn't vote. We didn't know the outcome of the stake to claim.
Hold on.
What we have to do with anything?
Hold on. Here we go.
I saw that and I'm like, oh, so y'all just make up stuff and say it and then gas each other up.
Hold on. Listen to it first, then we'll get your response. Ready? Here we go.
He feels used by us. What about Cedric? He really needs to take his anger out on his best friend that literally knew the whole time what was happening and didn't even give him a heads up.
But for some reason, Will is definitely thinking that Nany and I had this whole elaborate plan and orchestrated the entire thing to the house to get Aviv and Yeremi in. But in reality, Cedric and Michaela had this planned from the start. They've been wanting this. They played one dirty game. Looks like they were a match made in heaven for two people that read the Bible every second of the day.
We were pawns in somebody else's game. We got played, and he was collateral damage in it.
Exactly.
Ooh, a lot to unpack there. So I think there's a few different. So A, do you feel like Cedric betrayed Will by not giving him a heads up? And B, was this part of your elaborate master plan to have them sent in? Like, were you the puppet master behind this that was pulling all the strings?
First of all, let's do B.
Okay.
Will should have never had to switch partners.
Yep.
Will wouldn't have had to switch partners if there was no stake of claim. There would have been no stake in the claim if Nany didn't confirm her vote. Okay? So this is, again, consequences of action. It's a downstream impact. I have nothing to do with the vote on Will. Second of all, Nany and Justin should have never voted Will and Aviv. Okay? So that's that. Now, is Cedric responsible? No. Cedric didn't know for certain that Yeremi was taking a claim. As you saw, I was the only one that was going around talking to people. Cedric was sitting off to the side, which is what he typically does. So again, if he has no vote in the matter, why would he project several steps forward and say, we'll do A, B, or C? That's for Justin to do. You know the potential consequences of those actions. Justin and Will are bestie buddies. That's for Nany to do. If you can go tell Aviv, like, hey, I'm going to vote for them. You can go tell Will, hey, I told Aviv I'm going to vote for them. You know, stake a claim is possible. And then that's also for Will to do. Use your brain, big buddy. Like, what? This is what we plan to happen, but if it goes wrong, what could the wrong be? So no, I don't think that Cedric is responsible for anything. And no, there's no plan. We were trying to work with Will.
Do you think this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, which is the challenge versus Big Brother Survivor thing, where Cedric was very much playing a Big Brother game where it's like, I'm not going to say anything. Yes, this might be happening, but what benefit does it do to come and give you a heads up if in the end of the day, it actually benefits my game for this to take place? What know what I mean?
It doesn't. Nothing about that situation benefited me and Cedric. Like we have a super team created, right? At least Yeremi with Aviv, if the final involves anything with carrying, automatically Aviv's at a disadvantage because she's so small, right? So now you have normal body size Olivia with ultra marathon running Yeremi. This is not in it was never in our best interest for that stake of claim to happen. And it's still, again, considering that the stake of claim did happen, the issue is that Nany and Justin voted for Will and Aviv instead of voting for Yeremi and Olivia. That's the issue. And instead of owning that, they want to talk about other stuff that's highly irrelevant. They could have told, if they wanted Will to put on his shoes, they should have told Will to put on his shoes as the people who saw Will walking down with no shoes on. Because again, where were Cedric and I? In the kitchen waiting for the deliberation to end.
Yeah.
So I just think it's just people not wanting to take accountability and people feeling bad after reading Will's note.
Yep. Now, the night out after this all takes place, Sydney claims that you were the one, obviously, that, orchestrated this vote against Aviv when you kind of like went down into the closet and you insinuated that this is the way that it should go.
Yeah.
Now, even though, was that in your mind, is that what actually happened? Was she correct? And why does Turbo get all out of sorts when Sydney talks or hangs out with Yeremi? Because that's the other thing. I'm just sitting there looking at this, and I think it's pretty accurate. I think Turbo looks at Yeremi as he's got a inferiority complex, and he's like, this is kind of like Turbo 2.0.
Yeah, I didn't understand the dynamic between Sydney and Turbo. Things didn't make sense.
Oh, I do.
I'm like, live your life, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
With the whole Aviv and Yeremi vote, again, I think there's two different things. Did I want Aviv and Yeremi voted in? 100% yes. My confusion in that conversation is why it is a shock and surprise that I wanted to go against them, because I obviously went around and said that. That was not secret. Aviv was not caught off guard because I told her weeks ago while Ashley was still in the house, hey, you're moving kind of funny. I don't like it. Do you want to try not? And it was like, no, I'm just doing this because I know what you're doing. You're making it so that when the numbers get down, people take you and throw me under. I see it. Noted. The time is up, right? So, and then with Yeremi, I had no agreement with Yeremi. You don't even see Yeremi talking to me in any of these episodes, right? So for me, it's a thing of Sydney's upset that I know that Yeremi is her bestie buddy, and she's upset, like, why wouldn't I want to go to the final and run it for fourth place?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're upset about.
You said the quiet part out loud. Especially once or when Yeremi and Aviv were a team, I feel like everybody in the house benefited from them leaving. I'm not going to lie, including Sydney and Turbo. You best believe Turbo. That's probably why he went and started playing fucking arcades. Is because he's like, I kind of want this guy gone, but I also made a closet alliance with him that I can't go back on, and Turbo's all about honor. But if push came to shove, in as much as he wants to sit there and say he wants to run against the best in the final, it's like, Turbo, if you have an opportunity to get rid of Yeremi, okay, you're going to want it.
Especially if you have an opportunity for the house to get rid of Yeremi and you get to keep your hands clean, you will want that. Everybody will take it. So, I think it's shocking to me that like Sydney and Yeremi would think for some reason that I'm just like, oh yeah, I would love to run a final and have no shot of winning. Like, that's crazy. You obviously don't respect all the work I've put in up to this point in this game. But the other piece is just the votes were going to happen anyway. Like, Nany was going to vote the way she was going to vote anyway. As Theo said, I thought it was going to be a split vote. I thought it was going to be a coin flip. That means him and the other team, they were going to vote for Yeremi and Aviv anyway. So that was my confusion. I didn't understand, like, why do people have an attitude all of a sudden if y'all were going to vote that way anyway? But then watching it back, seeing like the drama that went down at deliberation, which I wasn't there, so I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of the notes from Will. So I can piece it together now. But in the moment, it's like, what's the issue? Do you not know that you smoked us up the mountain on day one?
So what you're saying is the claim of you and Cedric being the biggest gaslighters in the house, which I think is, again, Rich coming from the Olivia contingency, is funny. So, and this is what I'm referring to, because, again, I think the way I read it is you kind of said the quiet part out loud. You said what everyone else was probably thinking, but they could then pin it on you, because at this point in the game, well, it's basically every point in the game, but whenever you have an opportunity to single a team out and basically direct everyone's attention to them, because you've probably got one challenge, one elimination left, the further you can ostracize a team, the better. And that's kind of what it seemed like. And this was their claim.
I said, why is there such a shift in the energy in the house after that deliberation?
Because essentially what happened is a lot of things got exposed, right?
Such as
you guys asking for me and Aviv, right?
I did speak to Olivia, Theo, Adrian.
And you did ask for me and Aviv.
I didn't ask, but I said the extra vote is not going towards you, so you can calm down. There's no need to scramble. No. That's it.
I'm starting to see Michaela and Cedric for who they really are and the kind of players in this game that they are. I have worked with Michaela this entire season, but now after seeing how everything has gone down and the way that she's acting, I realize that she's manipulative, she's super shady, don't trust her. And Cedric, I thought he was so sweet and honest and real. I just expected more.
Yeah, so like my thing is, what did I manipulate? They were going to vote how they were going to vote. I just said, I don't mind, give them to me. That's it.
Yeah.
And really, for me, like, to take it back to people's feelings, my primary reason for going down to the closet, like, of course, I talked to Nany about votes. That's normal. But my reason for going down to the closet specifically is because Theo specifically, not necessarily Adrian, but Theo's countenance was just so downcast from being thrown into elimination after elimination after elimination after elimination. So for me, it was just a human to human thing. Like, there's no need to isolate y'allself today at the club thing. There's no need to be all scared. Give me the goose. Like, I'm not trying to run a final for nothing. So just chill. You shouldn't get any votes. Just relax. You don't have to be all sad and in the dumps, right? That's what it was. It was a more to help their feelings, their emotions. But now we see why I don't worry about people's feelings and emotions, because people will take anything and try to spin it. Cedric and I lost the daily. We're going in anyway.
Yep.
So why do you need to pile on and say whatever? It's just because you were looking for something to say the whole game. You couldn't catch me in anything. And now you just want to, you want to shovel us under the deck.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think what ended up happening was they put you, even though you and Cedric, your games weren't in alignment until you guys became partners, they almost wanted to conflate your two games, like, from the beginning. Like, this is the way you guys have been playing from the beginning, when you guys had two completely different games. And then you almost, in a weird way, started being held responsible for Cedric's agreement that you had absolutely nothing to do with.
I have no agreement with Yeremi whatsoever.
Or Turbo.
So, yeah. Well, Turbo told me, you're my sister. I have you because I didn't vote for him. And
it's everybody. Turbo's got everybody.
You know?
Turbo's got everybody and anybody, and then he can sit back and because he doesn't make the vote, that's why he got up and walked away from the table. And this was so telling to me because when I was watching it, I remember thinking back and being like, wait a minute, why isn't Turbo like calling Cedric out for breaking this alliance? Duh, because Turbo wants this to happen too. He doesn't want to be in an alliance with Yeremi anymore. He said that in the closet when it was convenient early on to be like, yes, you know, the three of us, we brothers, we work together, whatever. But now when push comes to shove, he doesn't want that either. But he can't say that. He can't call Cedric out because this is secretly what he wants as well. So instead, he's going to go and play fucking Galaga and, you know, just pretend like he has nothing to do with any of this. Very convenient.
Yeah. So I think what gets people is I say what I want and then I back behind it. Like, give me these people.
Yep.
I don't care. It doesn't scare me. And I think maybe some people wish they could play like that because most people don't. Do you think though that Cedric, again, apart from your game, do you think that Cedric kind of, you know, betrayed the alliance that he made with Yeremi and Turbo, as everyone is kind of accusing him of doing? So on a literal perspective, yes. If there was agreement, we're going to the final together, then okay. My other thing that I think about is, was you're okay, I'm really in this, and from that point in the game forward, have y'all worked together, right? Or was it just empty words, like people looping you into something to protect themselves?
Something that was said and never followed up on.
Exactly. So if it was empty words, people getting you to agree to something, they want you to be a number, but the rest of the game, they haven't shown any consideration towards you. They're not talking to you about votes. They're not, you know, putting any skin in the game behind you at all. Well, then, my brother, you're released from that contract. And what I can say is when Cedric and I picked partners, when we became partners, Cedric never said anything about Yeremi's off the table for me. What Cedric said to me is Will is off the table for me. So again, from my perspective, Yeremi schmear me. Yeah. Yeremi is safe because he's with Aviv and because I'm with Aviv at this time. The moment I'm not with Aviv anymore, Yeremi schmear me. Yes, Sydney's problem.
I think also it's there's almost like one of these things where there's like I guess there's almost like a verbal agreement, but there's not like an agreement where like you actually put pen to paper. And I think what Cedric was very good at doing this season was being there and giving the impression that he agreed to something when he didn't actually agree to it, right? And that's, you know, and you saw it a couple times. It seemed like in the closet, he was there, the agreement was made, and he was just kind of there. He was bystander, shook his head, but there was never like any sort of handshake. And then when you saw Yeremi, when obviously, you know, in the Stake and Claim episode in the pool room, when he's like, yeah, you know, spoke with Turbo, we're still on good terms, where are you at? And he, in a very careful way, almost made it out as if it's like, yeah, nothing's changed from that conversation, but not giving a full-throated like confirmation that it's like, yes, the deal still stands. He left enough gray area in there where it can be like, yeah, I kind of agreed, but I didn't agree to enough of it to where, you know, and again, I think this comes from like the Big Brother background, his military intelligence background, but also
I think he's smart.
He's smart. And you know what he plays up? Listen, play to your strengths. Okay. And he knows he is a lot. I'll give this to Cedric. Cedric is so much smarter than he comes off.
He lets on.
Because what he does is he just allows people, oh, you think I'm a baby?
Think you're playing them.
And you think I don't know what's happening. You think I'm this little kid that doesn't know how to swim and has no idea what's going on and I need my mommy. It's like, if that's how you're
makes you feel comfortable,
then that's what I'm going to give you. I'm not going to sit here and be like, defend it.
Cedric does.
He did it to me.
That's why I picked him.
And I told him
as a partner.
I told him after, I'm like, Cedric, listen, man, even though I was only in the game for a week and you didn't really do anything, like you didn't betray me, whatever, screw me over. I'm like, I feel played because I was sitting here in the room being like, I must protect Cedric at all costs. All right. This poor kid, he's in here. He's in way over his head. He, everyone's like looking down at him like, this is like the first time he's ever experienced anything like this. And then I realized after, I was like, no, he's just basically taking what people, the way they see him, and he's just playing right into that role. Exactly.
He's giving you a mirror. You want me to be a young, dumb, silly kid
that doesn't know how to swim, but the entire time
can kill it in the water.
Yes.
Again, that's why I picked him. So again, that's his gameplay.
Yep.
And I respect it. And if you're smart enough,
pretty impressive.
You can see it. Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, people wanted to play him. You saw what created that conversation with Yeremi and Cedric in the pool room was Sydney saying, go make sure you still have Cedric. Mm-hmm. So they weren't in a partnership. It was, I want Cedric to be a number for me. And Cedric was going to be expendable.
Yep.
So yeah, don't be mad now. So I think that whole blow up was just really, it was a deflection. Nany and Justin felt bad after reading that note. The rest of them, they've been wanting a reason to put the heat on someone else the whole season, and they finally got an opportunity. Yeremi was the chillest one out of all of them. Like,
yeah, he was. The guy's unflappable. It really is funny how it's like how well he holds back his emotion, right? Because most people, I feel like if they knew and had the knowledge of what was the comings and goings of the house, they wouldn't say anything. He really doesn't say anything until he's like put in a position where he has to. And then when he does, it's like, buddy, if I was holding on to this type of information, I would have fucking launched a long time ago. But he really is like, some people like claim to be like chill. And usually the people that are like, oh, I'm so zen, I'm so chill. They're not.
It's on the inside. It's on the inside. It's a character trait. And it's admirable to have that level of just
chill,
even kill. Like, hey, I go with the flow. I take it as it comes. Even when he went into elimination the first time.
Yep.
Just like, Aviv was freaking out. Yeremi was like,
took it in stride.
We lost. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll do our best. So I do like that about Yeremi, but I'm sure he has thoughts that he just doesn't say.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting, like watching that, being in that experience and then watching all the confessionals back. The whole thing it involved Yeremi's game. Yeremi's the one who didn't have any type of negative thing really to say in the confessional and didn't really say too much at the actual event. But it's all these other people who voted for, who made the vote happen, who wanted it to happen, or who had no vote and was just watching it the whole time, who instigated the stake to claim. It's all those other people.
Yes. Yeah.
Who have something negative.
Feigning outrage for him.
Yeah. Interesting. Whatever. Say what you really wanted to say.
The challenge you guys do, did you know going into the global exchange, ride around on a bicycle and fucking I'll tell you what, this gave me flashbacks because I did an elimination like this, all right, years ago.
Really?
Yes, it was a climbing wall. It was a climbing wall, and you had countries and cities and countries you had to climb up and stick them on a board magnetically. And this is World of Worlds 2. And what was so annoying was the entire house, surprise, surprise, was against me. So the way the climbing wall was set up is if you were on the stage, if all the people were on the stage this way, the climbing wall was this way. So if they slid all the way over to one side of the riser, they were able to help one team or the other. So it was the entire house minus Nany, this guy JP, Leroy, and this girl Natalie. So I had those four helping me, which aren't exactly brain trusts, okay? Against Zahida, Zach, and then the entire rest of the house that were just literally like helping them I think me and Nany got like 3. I knew where Japan was. I knew where like the United States was, and that was it. But watching you guys do this, it was giving flashbacks. Yeah. This is one of those challenges where if you don't know it, you're not magically all of a sudden going to know where fucking Tanzania is on the map. So it's almost like you're like, we're kind of stuck with what we've got.
Yeah. And so what they don't show in this episode, Cedric and I make a decision. We're like, look, we're not going to win. Let's not give them the satisfaction of being able to vote us in. Let's just hide our countries behind the wall and stop. So we ended way before everyone else.
Yeah.
And we just sat there.
It's like a sacrifice. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to, y'all just made all this energy up. You know,
yeah.
We're going to go into the elimination.
Yep. On our own terms.
Best wishes. Best wishes.
We're sending ourselves in. We're not going to give you the satisfaction of saying our names. We're going to send ourselves in.
Yeah, so I've officially made it through the whole season without one nomination against me.
Look at you.
Yeah, you know? That's probably a rarity in the challenge.
And you know what? I think that's why you got so many people pressed, Michaela.
Yeah.
Really. That's what I'm telling you. That's what pisses what pisses people off is when you have the ability to stand 10 toes down, right? Make your decisions, stand by them, and not be afraid of the consequences. And you know, confidence to people. And I'm not saying everyone that has it out for you this season lacks confidence, but when people lack confidence, again, this goes back to what we were saying earlier about the alliance thing. The reason so many people like band together is because they lack confidence and because they're afraid. And the people that terrify them the most or they dislike the most are the people that are confident enough to stand on their own and go with the lower numbers and go against the grain. We find playing with that because they're like, how are they doing that? This is so weird. Yeah. They don't want to be part of this.
They don't want to be in my group.
They don't want to be part of the cool kids group and sit at our lunch table. They're okay sitting at a lunch table on their own like that. To people who lack that, it's a terrifying thing. All right. So obviously you guys are on the outs. You guys know that you're, going into elimination. Do you feel like at all, because of the exchange that like Nany and you and Cedric and Nany had in the past, did that add a little more like fuel to the fire going into this, not knowing what it was, but were you fired up?
I was. And it was like, well, it sucks to whoever has to go against us. And then also, the last elimination, the house was so on edge when Cedric and I lost. Just the fear of people like, who's going to have to go against them?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, go tremble. Yeah. And then when we saw Sydney won, it became obvious, it's Nany and Justin. Like, well, this is a waste again. But all that talking you were doing last night, talk to me in the arena.
Yeah. And and here's the thing, like you guys got an elimination that I think was, balls in. Obviously, there was a twist on it this time with the medicine ball instead of having. So I think it probably made it a little bit more difficult to maneuver. Yeah. Right.
It was a little heavy.
You guys, it was pretty obvious right out of the gate that I've done balls. I've done balls in with Nany in and outside of the game. But I will say that like if you either know instinctively what to do in this situation, which is you don't tackle a person up high, especially when they have an extra, 10, 20 pounds in a medicine ball. It's just not going to go well. And it seemed like neither Nany nor Justin understood that it was like, you got to go low and take out their legs. Nobody tried to do that. And you guys just fucking bodied them, dude. Was it as one-sided as it looked?
Yeah, 100%. And it was such a, like when I saw that it was balls in, I'm like, oh my God, how it would have been amazing to, again, have one of my top competitions for the final in here. Yes. So it was just another thing like, this is the type of elimination I've wanted to do, but now I got to do it against people that I wouldn't mind running a final with.
I know.
This is such a waste, but you put yourself here. Yeah. You put yourself here. So, it's almost like in a way, it's like, yes, I'm surviving this and it's getting me to the final, but by doing this, I'm making my final more harder. Difficult. Yeah. So it was just not the outcome that I wanted, but whatever, again, you did all that talking. I don't yell at people. And I still have love for Nany. Like, as soon as the game, as soon as the game wrapped, I opened my Instagram. She had messaged me, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And in the moment, I'm still like, I still don't understand why you went off like that. But over time, I realized, oh, okay, what was going on? That's cool.
Yeah.
So it was really like my feelings were hurt that out of nowhere, there's all this explosive energy. All right, well, here's karma. Now I get to explode on you the way I would like to.
I think
You're gone.
I think here's what I think it is with that, the reason she came off the way that she did. I think that in a way she did feel probably responsible, at least partially responsible for Will, and she felt bad. And that's the thing about Nany is she is, if Yeremi is the definition of chill, and I'm not going to show any emotion. I'm just going to keep it all inside, maybe not even have any. Nany is the exact opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like she's going to have all the emotion. Some of it may be misguided, and she's going to show all of it, and there is no way that she can't. So I think a lot, and again, when you get to that point in the game, when you were one step away from the final, it's like you're not necessarily interpreting reality 100% properly, and you are gonna lash out at people, and you're gonna, feel betrayed by people, and you're just gonna be this like exposed nerve. And I think that's how she is. But she's also great, like when the dust settles and when the emotions have settled down, coming back down to earth. And again, what makes I think Nany such an amazing person is also, especially in the challenge, a detriment, because showing emotion sometimes is not the way you want to play. But watching the two of you mix it up in there. Listen, I've seen you smothered in oil. I mean, just tossing bitches. So I was just like, dude, when a lot of people don't see it. I mean, I've seen you twice that season on the semi truck when you and Tori were destroying each other. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let the calm demeanor that Michaela, don't let it fool you.
Don't let the Bible fool you.
Don't let her little her little Christmas present with the little bow on it. Don't let that fool you, man. Because I've seen her mix it up on dangling from semi trucks. Tori was on the business end of that, and then dude, the oil wrestling match. I mean, you're a dog, dude. Like when you get down it, when you get into it, I mean, you're not just smart. You just don't know, and it's not just how to kind of cut people with words. When you put hands on people, it ain't pretty. So
hands on body is my favorite type of challenge.
Yeah, well, you do a good job at it.
Well, yeah, but look, even though this last elimination, this last combination of eliminations wasn't exactly what I was looking for or hoping for in terms of my goal of, clearing a way to make the final easier for myself. Ultimately, when I look at who's going into the final, everybody's been through the sand at least once, which I think is great. People made their own moves, some people to higher degrees than others, but people did whatever they felt like they needed to do. And now you have three? The top out of the I was the fifth girl up the mountain. Yeah. Adrian was the sixth.
No, this is stacked. This is a stacked final.
4 of 6.
And you've got every team with the exception, I guess of yours, you have, and Yeremi, you have final experience. Turbo's won. Theo basically has almost won. Olivia's come really close. There's a lot of experience in that final, and this is a very stacked final. You and Cedric, Sydney and Turbo, Theo and Adrienne, and then Olivia and Yeremi. So
so I can appreciate that part of it. I don't like the energy going into the final. Like one thing I thought about coming from USA 2, because USA 2 is like I went to the final with all people I liked.
Yes.
And so I felt like maybe that wasn't to my best interest because I was helping people on the overnight.
Mm-hmm. I know. I've told you that. I remember riding in the van on the way back. I'm like, Michaela, what the fuck? You and I?
What was that?
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
I gave away a win helping people because I like them. I was in the lead on women going to the second checkpoint. So I slow down for Desi.
For people that forget that, oh my God, because you know why? They didn't show it. They conveniently decided to edit out the Up All Night challenge on Challenge USA 2. And basically what we had to do is we had to stand on a fucking stump, and then you got to stand on the stump for an hour. All right. But we're not going to give you any way to calculate the time. What we're going to do is we are just going to let you count in your heads to 60 times. You step off, and then if you're within, 5 minutes, then you're able to get off. And then what Michaela and I figured out was there was a fucking blinking light on a camera that blinked every second. And we were the only two that saw it. And then I remember I'm stepping off and it was like, all right, you get what I get. And like, she was like, yes. And instead of her just keeping that to herself, she basically was like, all right, help the whole group.
Everybody. And so, and me and you would have been the only one sleeping that night.
I know.
But this is where my heart, if I let feelings into the game, it screws me over.
100%.
You know?
And I remember riding in the car on the way back because you and I were in the car together. And I remember telling you, I was like, Michaela, why did you tell them? And you were just like, well, I just thought we were doing it as a group.
I thought we were all budding. No. And so going into this final, into the season, I thought, well, maybe it's better to go to the final with people you don't like. No, because it just makes something that's already hard more horrible. So it's just a matter of holding back your feelings. Don't help people in the final. Yeah. Like you don't have to hurt them, but don't help them.
Or hurt them and then steal their money at the end. That's usually that's what I ascribe to.
Hey, if it's big enough, I'll take it too.
You know, no, there's, hey, I'm not going to be like, hey, look out for these dangerous potholes and rocks. I'll be like, guys, you see all that? Really, go over there. Go run. There, fall. That's Twisted Ankle fucking city over there.
Yeah, well, we have Twisted Ankle.
I was going to say,
that ankle's, hopefully I get to get some PRP shots or something. You seem like you would know about that.
PRP, I'm going to send you peptides.
Peptide, help me out because I
got you.
Ligaments.
I got you. I'm gonna put you on something. It's called the Wolverine stack. All right, really? You know what Wolverine does? He heals.
Okay.
Give yourself a few injections. Whatever is ailing you will be completely. You're not gonna. The only side effect is you're gonna have razor blades that come out of your fists, which might be dangerous for you in future challenges. All right. Well, listen, it's been a hell of a season watching you. And listen, and people can say, oh, you know, we like Michaela. We don't like how she's playing the game, but they cannot deny the fact that it's like you are a force to be reckoned with in this game, both physically and strategically and politically. So been love watching you doing it. Yeah. And
thank you.
For those out there that don't already follow you on social media, where can they find you?
I'm at the Michaela B on Instagram. And I'm also taking donations because I am happy to take anyone's money, including MTV's.
Okay. Hey, what's the donation link?
It's my Cash App.
Okay, gotcha.
90221.
Gotcha.
Send me all the coins. If you feel like I did a great job, give me $1.
Gotcha. I will. I'm going to send you 2. All right. Well, listen, Michaela, looking forward to seeing you again in the future. Watching you play again. And with that being said, thank you for stopping by the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast, where the tea flows like wine and my guests instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm Oprah, and I love you.